Fort Knox. The name itself is a synonym for impenetrable, a fortress holding America's gold reserves, a symbol of ultimate security. For decades, it's been the stuff of legends, the target of countless fictional heists. But what if I told you the unthinkable happened? What if the digital keys to the kingdom were stolen, not by a SWAT team with explosives, but by a ghost in the machine? Today, we re-diving deep into the story that never officially happened, the hypothetical hack of Fort Knox, and the single, terrifying security flaw that could have brought a nation to its knees. Now, before we go any further, let's be crystal clear. This is a thought experiment, a deep dive into cybersecurity vulnerabilities using Fort Knox as the ultimate case study. The real Fort Knox remains secure, but the lessons we can learn from this hypothetical scenario are incredibly real and apply to everything from your bank account to national infrastructure. So, how would you even begin to breach a fortress like Fort Knox? Forget the movies with laser grids and pressure plates. The real fortress isn't just concrete and steel. It's a complex web of digital and physical security. You have armed guards, military-grade defenses, and a 20-ton vault door. The physical approach is a non-starter to real vulnerability. The modern-day Trojan horse lies where you least expect it, in the mundane, everyday systems that keep the lights on. Every modern facility, even one as old as Fort Knox, relies on what are called industrial control systems, or ICS. These are the computer systems that manage everything: the HVAC, the power grid, the water supply, the surveillance cameras, and even the locking mechanisms. For years, these systems were air-gapped, meaning they were physically disconnected from the outside internet. They were considered safe because you couldn't reach them from the outside world. But that's where the critical flaw in our story begins: the myth of the perfect air gap. In our scenario, the initial breach didn't happen with a sophisticated piece of malware sent over the internet. It started with something far simpler, something human. It started with a USB stick. Imagine a third-party contractor, someone hired to perform routine maintenance on the facility's heating and ventilation system. This person is a trusted vendor. They've been background checked, and they've been on site a dozen times. But one day, either through carelessness or because they themselves were compromised, they plug in a contaminated USB drive to update the HVAC control software. This isn't a Hollywood fantasy. The Stuxnet worm, which famously sabotaged Iran's nuclear program, was delivered in a similar way. It's the ultimate social engineering trick. You don't hack the fortress. You walk right through the front door disguised as a friend. Once that USB is plugged in, the malicious code doesn't start setting off alarms. It does the opposite. It lies dormant. It hides, silently mapping the internal network. Its first goal isn't to steal gold, but to steal information. The malware begins to move laterally through the internal network, a ghost in the wires. It looks for connections, however brief or seemingly insignificant, to the outside world. Maybe it's a diagnostic computer that a technician occasionally connects to the internet to download software patches, or a security laptop that was temporarily connected to a public Wi-Fi network off-site. That one tiny bridge is all it needs. It establishes a covert low-bandwidth connection back to its masters, a digital whisper so faint it's buried in the noise of regular network traffic. Now the hackers have a foothold. They're inside the digital walls. From here, it's a game of patience. They spend months, maybe even a year, escalating their privileges. They're not looking for vault schematics. They're looking for control. They slowly gain access to the surveillance system. On their screens, they can now see every camera feed. But they don't turn them off. Instead, they learn the patrol routes of the guards. They learn the shift changes. They learn the rhythm of the entire facility. Then, they create a digital twin. The hackers record weeks of normal camera footage. Empty hallways, guards on their usual patrols, everything looking perfectly normal. They get ready to play this looped footage back to the security monitors on command, creating a phantom reality for the guards inside the control room. While the guards are watching a peaceful, pre-recorded loop, the hackers would have free reign over the live camera feeds, making the entire surveillance system their private eye in the sky. But cameras are just one layer. The ultimate target is the vault itself. Modern vaults, even those with old-school mechanical locks, are integrated with electronic sensors and controls. Pressure sensors, motion detectors, seismic sensors, and electronic locking assistants. The malware's final goal is to gain control of this system. It would work to disable the alarms not by cutting their power, which would be an obvious red flag, but by feeding them false all-clear signals. The system would report that all sensors are active and normal, even as they were being systematically bypassed. So, picture the scene. On the day of the hypothetical heist, the operation begins. The guards in the security center see nothing amiss. Their screens show empty corridors and the usual quiet hum of the facility. The digital alarms are silent, tricked into a state of blissful ignorance. The vault's electronic failsafes are all reporting green. The hackers have created a perfect digital blind spot, a bubble of manufactured reality around the heart of the fortress. This is the terrifying power of an ICS hack. You're not just stealing data, you're manipulating the physical world. You're turning the very systems designed to protect a place into the tools of its downfall. The steel and concrete are still there, but the digital nervous system that controls and monitors them has been completely compromised. The fortress is blind, deaf, and dumb. So, what's the lesson here? The biggest security flaw isn't a missing lock or a weak password. It's the assumption that any system is truly isolated. It's human error. It's the threat that comes not from a frontal assault, but from a trusted insider or a seemingly harmless maintenance update. This is the new frontier of security, protecting our most critical infrastructure, whether it's a gold vault, a power plant, or a water treatment facility, means we have to be vigilant about every single point of entry, no matter how small or insignificant it seems. The story of the Fort Knox hack is, for now, fiction. But it's a powerful warning. In a world where everything is becoming connected, our greatest fortresses are only as strong as their weakest digital link. We have to secure the mundane to protect the monumental. The idea is sobering, but understanding these vulnerabilities is the first step toward building a truly secure future. It forces us to ask the right questions and to never, ever underestimate the power of a single line of code. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. It's a fascinating and slightly scary topic, but an important one to understand. If you found this interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the hidden world of technology and security. Let me know in the comments what other unhackable systems you'd like to see us tackle next. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.